This is the co-main event of the evening. And now, for those in attendance and UFC fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
UFC heavyweight division hasn't had a striking champion since November 12, 2011, when Junior Dos Santos stopped Cain Velasquez after only 64 seconds. Ground game experts Velasquez, Miocic, Werdum, and Cormier were holding the belt for more than 8 years. Well, fight fans, the tables have turned last week when Francis Ngannou turned the lights out on Stipe Miocic. This occurred at UFC 260 in the long-awaited rematch. The powerful Cameroonian caught the already in trouble Stipe with a beautiful left hook which dropped Miocic and finished it off with a hammer fist. Francis had destroyed the majority of the top division contenders: Blades, Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, and Jairzinho Rosen Strickuvia. Lightning-fast first-round knockouts, while the all-time greatest heavyweight Miocic was stopped in the second. It seems there are no more challenges for the Cameroonian muscle mountain on the horizon. Yet one name stands out in the MMA media: the most dominant 205-pound octagon warrior and one of the most controversial guys in the history of this sport, Jon Jones. Let's hope this bout comes to fruition soon. It could bring an amazing number of pay-per-view buys and the collision of two different fighting styles. Francis Ngannou. Back in the early stages of his career, Ngannou was trained by Fernand Lopez, MMA Factory Paris coach who recognized the potential UFC contender and champion in the streets of Paris. Francis was broke. He was living illegally in Paris, but Fernand showed a huge level of mercy and let Ngannou train in his dojo. Ngannou came to France to pursue his boxing dream. Finding a promoter was not an easy job, so Fernand somehow persuaded him to test his luck on one of the fastest growing sports on the planet, mixed martial arts. Interestingly, Francis kicked off his MMA career with a submission win, and he suffered his first loss of his career in the second professional bout. After 3 more back-to-back wins, the big man's dream came true, as the Raw Francis inked a contract with the UFC. He got off to a hot start in the league, where he stopped Luis Henrique, Curtis Blades, Bohan Mahivalik, Anthony Hamilton, Andrei Arlovsky, and Alistair Overeem before getting his first title shot. Unfortunately, Ngannou was unable to parry Stipe's superior wrestling at UFC 220. Francis gassed out after landing several bombs in round 1 and spent the next 20 minutes on his back. He was unable to parry Miocic's outstanding transitions from half guard to side control and full mount. It seems Francis was heavily rocked by this loss, as he landed only 11 shots in his next UFC 226 fight against the most powerful puncher in the division, Derek Lewis. According to many MMA fans, this was the worst match in the history of the sport. Herb Dean threatened to deduct a point to both fighters on many occasions. Yet Francis was reborn after the most terrible performance of his career. The Cameroonian powerhouse turned into an aggressive, heavy-handed one-punch knockout machine again, which led to 4 back-to-back knockout wins within 2 minutes of the first round. This set him up for a rematch against Stipe for the title, which he won with one of the trickiest straight punch knockdowns in the new era of UFC. Ngannou's technical approach. The first African heavyweight title holder is the most dominant boxer in the history of UFC 265-pound weight class, with a fair background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ngannou's best strikes are hooks. Francis jabs from time to time, but he usually connects to Western boxing hooks, targeting the opponent's chin or temple. You can see lightning-fast right straight punches and left jabs in his boxing arsenal too. Oh, don't forget the outstanding left uppercut that turned the lights out on Dutch muscle mountain Alistair Overeem at UFC 218. You'll rarely see Francis ducking under punches. He rather chooses to block or retreat via step drag backward or step back. From time to time, Francis moves to the side and tries to land a counter hook. The first ever Cameroonian UFC champ likes to check low kicks. He blocks body kicks by tucking elbows against the ribs. Francis didn't attempt to switch stances and fight southpaw in the early stages of his career. On the ground, Francis likes to go for the Kimura or triangle choke, but you will notice that he would rather scramble up and get back to his feet as soon as possible. His two most powerful technical strikes on the ground are the standing hammer fist and the hammer fists of the full guard. Francis has never been submitted. His submission defense is pretty good. MMA Factory Paris mostly creates strikers with good BJJ. Take a look at their ranked heavyweight fighter and their former total knockout champ, Cyril Gane, who finished Rafael Pessoa and Don'Tale Mayes via submission in his first UFC bouts. Ngannou's greatest advantage is an enormous level of strength and powerful chin. Francis is a heavy-handed, one-punch knockout artist, but he has never been finished or knocked out. The first ever African 265-pound title holder can eat the most powerful shots to the face and remain on the feet. Yet Francis significantly changed his fighting style under the leadership of former K1 fighter Dewey the Black Cobra Cooper.
I see the experience that Francis has gained since the original first fight will be the difference. It's Ngannou's time. He has the experience, the patience, and the fight IQ. Well, he has God-given power. He has the attributes, he has the height, he has the reach. And he's got that equalizer in both hands, and in his knees, and in his kicks, and also in his kicks.
In his last outing against Miocic, the new improved version of Ngannou was switching stances and landing devastating leg kicks. Stipe Miocic was limping after one powerful kick to the thigh in the first round. Francis switched stance a few times and rocked the most famous firefighter on earth with a strong left high kick to the head. Luckily for Stipe, it was not a shin to the chin. Francis 2.0 knows to stuff takedowns. As soon as the opponent tries to get close, Francis immediately explodes and sprawls, raising his feet off the floor. His defensive wrestling is very good. Ngannou likes to transition to the opponent's back and land an endless barrage of hooks to the side of the head. This was seen in the second battle against Miocic in round 1. Yet before the Miocic bout, his coach Dewey Cooper was worried about the two major aspects of the game, wrestling and cardio. Francis's offensive wrestling has improved, but it's still far from good as he hasn't wrestled in the college. The Cameroonian knockout artist lands the most powerful bombs in the division, but his gas tank is limited, so championship rounds might be an issue. Yet the new version of Francis Ngannou is very tactical. Francis rarely attacks with a barrage of bullets. He mostly stops after the second strike to recover. He'll go for the onslaught when he smells blood or sees a dazed or wobbly opponent. Ngannou versus Jones. Technical analysis. Jon Jones has a lot more different strikes and attacks from all kinds of angles in his arsenal, which might create huge problems for Ngannou. Also, Jon Jones' sidekick to the knee was the enigma for everybody in the UFC light heavyweight roster. Yet Dewey Cooper's mind is miraculous. He might come up with a magical defensive game plan. Jones is better when it comes to long-range strikes, thanks to spinning back kicks and reach advantage. But this time, Jones might have a problem, because Francis' reach is 83 inches, only 1.5 less than Jones's 84.5 inches. Francis lands more powerful strikes, and he's definitely a better boxer. Yet, Muay Thai clinch goes in the favor of Jones, especially thanks to all kinds of elbows. Ngannou's dirty boxing skills are not the greatest, while Jones can hurt you with a horizontal elbow, slashing elbow, various knees to the head and body, and a spinning back elbow from close range. Jones wrestled before his UFC run. He's a better wrestler on the paper. Yet Ngannou proved his defensive wrestling a lot, so Bones is going to have a hard time dragging the reigning 265-pound champion to the ground. BJJ goes in favor of Jones, but it's hard to expect a submission finish as Jones transitioned to a stand-up fighter. Yet Jones's BJJ defense is out of this world, so Francis will probably stay away from submission attempts. If you're a die-hard betting addict, you can try picking Francis to win via submission. If you invest $1, you'll probably get 20 or more in return. Jon Jones' cardio is better, plus he is a mentally tough tactical fighter who likes controlling the round from the beginning until the end. Ngannou has improved his footwork and movement a lot. He's not standing like a log anymore, so the score for this aspect of the game is probably tied. Despite Johnny Bones weighs around 250 pounds at the moment, power and strength 100% goes into the favor of Francis. Just look at his last 5 fights to witness the insane knockout power. Jones' extensive wrestling background should mean domination on the ground, but in the title fight, Miocic tried to take down the Cameroonian powerhouse, and Francis stuffed a takedown attempt, ended up on Stipe's back, and unloaded a combo of powerful hooks to the temple of the turtled former 265-pound division king. This parameter is also questionable. Let's wrap up the outstanding fight the MMA world wants to see. There are 2 potential outcomes of this fight. If Jon Jones survives the first 2 rounds, he'll probably outwork the new improved version of Ngannou and win via unanimous or split decision. But if Francis lands one big bomb to the chin or temple, Jon Jones might fall like a board and eat a few more hammer fists on the ground before the referee waves off the contest. What do you think about a clash between the most dominant 205er in the history of the fastest growing sport in the world and the first African 265-pound belt owner? Who'd win this heavyweight title combat? Will Jon Jones' patient frustrate Ngannou? Will Francis be gassed after 2 rounds? Or maybe Jon Jones is going to get knocked out for the first time in his life? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your views matter to us, and we value the opinions of our audience. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our hard-hitting fight content. Let us know which fight breakdown you'd like to see next. Until next time, stay safe, fight fans.
Oh, Bones Jones. Oh, these little chicken legs. Oh, I'm writing off on that one. I'm going to celebrate.